I still remember the cold click of the door when she left. 2 hours, she said. Just 2 hours. But her footsteps faded down the stairs like a promise dissolving in acid. And the 3 boys, silent, confused, holding their tiny backpacks, watched me like I had answers I didn't even know I'd need. She never came back. 15 years later, she walked into a courtroom with a lawyer, freshly manicured lies, and a lawsuit that accused me of kidnapping the same boys I fed, taught, protected, and buried my youth for. But she didn't know what I carried in my coat pocket. Neither did the boys. Not yet. The judge eyed us like we were 2 versions of the same tragedy. Her team whispered, smirked, prepared to paint me as a villain. I stood alone, controlled, silent. He asked for opening statements. Instead, I slid the envelope across the table. He paused. Only judges pause like that, like they've seen everything, except this. "Do they know what's inside?" he asked. I looked at the boys, now men, taller than me, angrier than I ever allowed myself to be. "No," I said, "not yet." I met her when my life was simple. Night shift worker, 1-bedroom apartment, dreams small enough to hold, big enough to chase. She came with a smile that felt like home, and 3 sons who hid behind her legs like shadows afraid of the sun. Their father had disappeared, or so she said. I cooked for them, tucked them in, learned their nightmares and names long before they learned mine. For a year, we built something fragile, something almost real. Then one evening, 2 hours, she promised, she handed them off like borrowed furniture and vanished. I waited days, then weeks. Then I understood she hadn't abandoned them. She had abandoned me. The betrayal arrived in fragments. A call from a landlord who asked why she'd skipped rent. A friend who whispered she'd taken off with a man she met online. A letter from child services addressed to her, found shoved under my door. Inside, a record, unpaid bills, welfare fraud, accusations against previous partners, a pattern. I wasn't the first man she'd dumped her children on, but I was the only one who stayed. My anger didn't explode. It condensed, cold, sharp, disciplined. I began to prepare. First, I documented everything. The day she left, every call unanswered. Every school form I signed guardian, knowing I wasn't. I filmed myself asking the boys if their mother contacted them. Every answer was a quiet shake of the head. Then I traced her. It took months. Debt trails, old leases, a restraining order from another state. When I finally found her, she wasn't raising kids. She was raising hell. Scamming men, burning bridges, rewriting history. That's when I built my own case. Recorded calls with social workers, screenshots of her online posts bragging about being child-free. Her messages to a friend saying she dumped the kids on the idiot and skipped town. I saved everything. And I waited. 15 years later, she resurfaced, broke, desperate, smelling opportunity. Her lawyer claimed I stole her children, that I manipulated her, that I destroyed her life. I walked into court with one weapon, truth wrapped in quiet fury. The envelope held it all. A timeline of her disappearances, her fraud cases, the letter where she wrote she never wanted them, the audio recording where she laughed and said she only married me for free babysitting. Everything she buried. Everything the boys deserved to know. Climactic confrontation and fallout. The judge opened the envelope. His face shifted from curiosity to disgust. He looked at her, then at the boys. 3 young men whose jaws tightened as the truth spread through them like fire. "Would you like to explain this?" he asked her. She stuttered, blamed stress, blamed me, blamed the universe. But lies drown when the tide finally turns. One boy, her eldest, stood up and said, "You left us." Her face collapsed. The judge dismissed her case with a single sentence. "Ma'am, you didn't lose your children. You abandoned them. She broke. A lifetime of manipulation unraveling in front of everyone. I didn't smile. Revenge doesn't need a grin. Just silence. Outside the courtroom, the boys, now men, asked what made me keep all that evidence. I told them the truth. I wasn't preparing for revenge, I said. I was preparing for the day you'd need answers. They nodded slowly, painfully, understanding the cost of loyalty. As we walked out, I felt the weight of 15 years finally slide off my shoulders. Not forgiven, not forgotten, just finished.